Welcome to the Hilarity Ensues podcast, hosted by Donna, the queen of quick wit, and Jeff, the dean of devious double entendres. Together, they're on a mission to find the funny in life using nothing but their critical thinking skills and sarcasm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hilarity Ensues. I am your host, Donna, and along with me here today is my co-host,
Jeff.
There we go, Donna and Jeff here today. Thank you for joining us. Today's subject is going to be really interesting. If you tuned into any of our previous broadcasts, you probably have figured it out by now that Jeff and I, we are Gen Xers. And there was a post. What was that?
To the fullest.
To the fullest. That's right. To the fullest. There was this Instagram post that I shared with Jeff, and I was like, we really need to talk about this. I'm going to bleep out the expletives here and substitute some words. Mess around with Gen X and find out. A millennial posted this, and they said, I don't mess around with anyone over the age of 42. They're built different. Their families had them formally trained in something by the time they were 2 years old. They had keys to the house by the age of 5, could cook full meals at 7, and were pretty much self-sufficient by 9. They left their house at dawn every summer morning and didn't come home until nightfall and survived all day on water from a garden hose. Okay, let's see here. And it's kind of cut off, but you kind of get the picture here. You know, you kind of get the gist of it. They're trying to say that we're a different breed. And Jeff, do you think we're a different breed? What makes us different?
A handful of things that make us different. A lot of it is just not being brought up in the internet age. That's part of it too. Things were a lot different. We did have to have independence. A lot of us did. Maybe had two parents working a lot of the times, so they didn't have time or maybe the funds for a babysitter. So you got to figure out stuff real quickly. Going back to the latchkey kid conversation or comments in that, I saw the IG post too. But I too had a key about 5 or 6, probably about 8 or 9, somewhere in there. Had a key to the house, get off the bus, go straight to the house, lock the door, don't answer the door for anybody but me.
I had a key by the time I was 6.
Wow, you're independent.
I was 6 years old and I had a key. And here's the timing. And what makes us different, to your point, most of us came from 2-parent households where both parents were working, I should say. Both parents were working. And that's what differentiated us from the boomers. Boomers, mom typically stayed at home, dad went to work, mom was at home when the kids came home from school. Our generation, there was a higher rate of divorce at that time. And like you said, both parents were out working. And the rules of my house was, like you said, come home, lock the door. Don't open the door for nobody. We're going to call the landline. Everybody, landline, phone that's in your house, that rings in your house, not a cell phone. So you have to be there to answer it. So you get out of school at 3:00. I lived right around the corner from the school. So by 3:10, I should have been inside the house. At 3:10, that phone was ringing, but here it goes. It's going to ring once and hang up. And then it's going to ring again, and then you answer it. You don't answer it on the first ring. You wait for the code that, like, everybody had that code. It's like, come on now. But that's what it was. Ring and you answer the phone. Okay, just making sure you're safe in there, and go ahead and make yourself something to eat. Don't make a mess. Don't burn down the house. Do your homework and fill in the blank.
Yeah, that's pretty much verbatim. Yeah.
And you know what the text message was? It was a handwritten note on the back of an envelope. When you get it, I need you to do this.
Right. Clean up the bathroom, clean up your bed, whatever.
Yep.
And don't make a mess.
Don't make a mess. So, as far as full-on meals go, and again, we didn't have microwaves. We were the generation, we didn't have microwaves. We may have had a toaster oven, but I do remember making stuff for myself. But here's the thing. We had a gas stove, but none of the igniters worked on the gas stove. So, and we didn't have those fancy Bic lighters, torches that everybody's using now. We had to use matches. So we had to light the stove. I didn't light the stove till I probably was around 10, 11.
That's a good age.
Before that, yeah, good age to play with fire, right? But yeah, I was making like bologna sandwiches, frying hot dogs, all kinds, boiling hot dogs, whatever. Simple things, putting stuff in a toaster and making something to eat.
Yeah, mine was, believe it or not, toasted peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese, hot dogs, a lot of ravioli. Just we had, thankfully, most of the burners started up most of the time. But yeah, I do a little bit on the cooking on the top of the stove. I'd say about 9-ish or 10-ish, somewhere in there. We started with pancakes on the little flat grill. I don't know what that thing was called. It's a little thing that's not
The,
quite, it's separate from the oven. You just plug it in.
the griddle, yeah.
The griddle, yeah, the griddle. We had that. They saw how we did, like, okay, we're a little messy at the end, but he cleans up. So I'm gonna trust him to cook something. And my mom would always call, is everything unplugged, everything, the burners off, everything, things of that nature. She definitely didn't want to come down to the fire department at the house.
But here's also a different time. I remember in second grade, the elementary went to, our teachers used to go to like these 1-day seminars to kind of learn different things to come back and teach us. Like I remember one lesson was they taught us how to make rubber bands with liquid latex. I remember this though, because I think I'll probably still make it to this day. They came back and taught us in second grade how to make pizza with English muffins.
Nice. Didn't get that lesson. Sounds good
So
though.
here it is. It was a thing in school. The teachers brought in toaster ovens, and so we sat at our desk. We split open the English muffins. We took ketchup, breaded on the English muffin, took oregano, sprinkled it on the ketchup, put a slice of American cheese on it, and put it in the toaster.
That's the start.
Let
How
me
did it
tell you,
taste?
that slaps. It was it, boy. You can tell me nothing. I thought I was Chef Boyardee. For those of you listening, Google who Chef Boyardee is.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. But they really taught us how to be self-sufficient. And all of us, we didn't have parents at home to kind of come home to. And here's the thing, my mother worked, she worked second shift because she was a nurse. So she left like a half an hour before I got home from school. And my father came in like an hour after I got in from school. So I was home for like just a short period of time. But I had friends that were putting themselves to bed at night talking about, mom left dinner on the stove. And here's the other thing, put a pot of boiling water on the stove, put a plate on top of the boiling water, put a cover on it, and it keeps it warm.
Yeah.
That's what we did. Take it off, wash up your plate, clean up the kitchen. So it wasn't uncommon. And I remember I worked with someone when I was in Florida, and he told me, he was a couple years older than me, when he was like 10, his parents used to drop him off at Disney every day during the summer. This is when Disney first opened up, so a bottle of water wasn't $5 like it is right now. But they would drop him and his brother off and a couple of the neighborhood kids, and they would drop them off at Disney when on their way to work, and they would pick them up on the way home. And you know what? They fed them breakfast at home. They gave them bag with a sandwich and a juice for all day. And they stayed because I think they also had like a certain special where you could get an annual pass really cheap back then. So
That's a cheap babysitter.
That was cheap childcare for them.
Yeah.
And I was like, and think of it, this is like circa probably 1977. Disney didn't have as many rides as it does in 2024.
Nah.
So
Did he hate it?
he was like, it's an experience. You got to hang out with his friends during the summer.
That's true.
And the other option is you stay at home all day in the house by yourself with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 channels that are running on TV because we didn't have cable. There was no Netflix. There was no Hulu. No Amazon Prime streaming.
Yeah, I'll take the Disney for $300, Chuck.
So yeah, it's like we learned how to be very resourceful.
Yes.
Yes.
Independent. You got to figure things out.
Got to figure it out. So we are the original MacGyvers.
Yes, I just remember summertime. We're just on Saturdays, stuff that would never fly in this day and age. And I must have been probably 10-ish, maybe 11. And I ride my little Huffy bike from the house all the way to this place called Galaxy World. It's a bowling alley, but I didn't go there to bowl. They had a game room there. And I used to ride up there. And one day I actually measured it with the odometer. I had the little odometer on the bike. But later on, when I could learn how to drive, it was 5 miles away. As a kid, like 6th grade, solo on the bike with just a little lock it up front, do your thing. I was there for hours. And then I would just come on back. I just can't picture that now with 11-year-old or in that age group. I think they'd start putting people in jail and whatnot after a certain age if you let them run around or stay at
Mhm.
home for X amount of time frame alone.
Yeah, because also, in addition to exploring like that, and I don't know why my mind just went blank because you said something 5 miles away. But yes, growing up in New York, ooh, see what happens when you're a Gen Xer. Thoughts kind of fleet for a second, but they come back.
You came back. You gonna
But
talk about the street lights
mm,
or the time when to come home?
no, it wasn't that. It was I was riding a New York City bus to go to school when I was 12. And it wasn't one bus, it was two buses. So I had to take a bus, get off, get on another bus, and go to school. And this was an hour commute at 12.
That's wild.
And I was fortunate that the route for me wasn't the subway route, but there were kids my age that were taking the subway to school at 12.
Yeah, I knew a girl. This is a different situation, but I knew a girl. She was taking the subway out in Chi-Town. She was like 5 or 6 solo, and she made it no problem. But yeah, her parents were both not the greatest, so she wound up being adopted later on. But yeah, she remembers all the way back, like kindergarten, and just had a little ticket, show the people, and people would kind of look at her, and she'd go, and she brought her little sister too. She was a year younger than her, so they were just going to school together. These two little kids, and somehow not bother. This is Chi-Town, the CTA. I can't imagine that today. That'd be seriously unsafe.
But you know what? I was watching something and they were talking about kids in China that they're like 3 years old and they're going and they're running errands for their parents.
What?
They're out on the street. And I guess because safety it's there's no worry about safety and child safety there. 'Cause their laws are so
Super strict. Yeah.
super strict. But like these little kids and the parents are following behind to see what they do. They send them out to get like some rice or something. They go to the store and they hand the money and they come out and they walk out and they just go about their business. I'm like, they're toddlers practically.
Why gotta be rights?
It's just an
Gotta
example.
get canceled already.
Yeah, I'm gonna cancel. No, but I think actually the example they did have them buying rice. But yeah, they teach them to be self-sufficient. But there's also here's what I noticed with like we knew everybody in our neighborhood. We may not have liked them, but we knew them.
Right.
Everybody knew everyone. You move into neighborhoods now and nobody talks to nobody.
It's rare.
It's very rare. And I like from living in Florida, I can say this. I knew my neighbors. I lived on a cul-de-sac, but most people are pulling into a driveway, garage, closing the garage and getting out their car and going inside. So they're never having to interact with anyone. And kids now, they do play dates. It's not like kids go outside and they play and they make friends. It's like, no, we go to school together. Your mom talks to my mom and they say, you know what? They need to get outside and play. We're going to arrange a play date. And it so happens the moms are kind of cool with each other and they kind of like each other. So it's two friendships for the price of one. My mother wasn't friends with any of my friends' mothers. They weren't having like coffee and tea together while we played. It was like, I need to know who they are, but I don't need to hang out with them while you play with them.
Yeah, you didn't have time for that.
No, she didn't have time for that at all. But I do notice that. And your 5 mile bike trek that you did when you were how old? 10?
10ish, yeah,
Yeah.
10, 11.
Kids don't do that. Kids barely ride a bike outside now. And in my neighborhood, because I do live in a walking neighborhood, I see parents outside. And you know what happens? Parents ride bikes with kids. There's no you're out there on your own exploring. It's like, no, we'll ride the bike as a family together. And I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking family activity, but when does your child gain their independence? I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't get it. What was that?
Yeah, it just seems taking longer and longer. I just remember certain phone calls when they had certain jobs where the person's 18 and their mommy or daddy's on the phone with them and they can't even form a sentence like, yeah, I want to know, this investment or this and that. And you're 18, you got your own account, right? You should be able to look it up, ask questions. I mean, they couldn't even get there to ask for a replacement of something or a statement or anything like that. I'm like, they're 18. They should be able to do this by now.
No, the best one. Verify. Can I get your date of birth? They give the date. Can I get your social? Mom, what's my social security number? Oh my gosh. I've heard that many times. Like, come on now.
We can rattle it off, both of us right now. Boom. We're not going to do that now, but
no, we're not going to do
social by heart.
Because it's like once you get out into the world and do job applications. I remember there was someone coming in for a job and I forgot what it was. And I told them that's what they needed. And they were like, I need to call my mother.
Really? That's scary.
That is very scary. I'm like, you should have told her you were going out for an interview and she would have packed you a lunch. And inside the lunch, she put a little Post-it card in there with all the information you need to know. You know what? I got an idea. That is an idea. The Gen Z survival pack.
It's a big pack.
It's a big pack. So in it, it has your mom will fill it out and she'll put your shoe size, your pants size, your shirt size, your dress size, your ring size, your social security number, her maiden name in case somebody asks. Everything you need to know. I think I'm onto something, Jay. I think I'm
That's
on.
$1 million idea, at least.
Yeah, it's $1 million idea. Well, not anymore. I'm telling the rest of the world about it right now. So
We got to delay the release on this one for a while so you get it down pat.
Up and running. I think so. This is going to be in the archives. Maybe not.
I just thought of something that happened about a year ago. I was a member of this gym. This gym I haven't mentioned, I don't think. It's like my backup gym. It's 24 hours.
Okay.
And it used to be where the main gym was, the one that starts with a G. That one shut down. And then it's the same size gym replaced it. So anyway, they have this deal. It's $10 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If the money comes, if the money comes directly from your checking account. So I'm like, all right, because you save some money versus using like a debit card. So all right, here it is. Let's fill it out. Something happened with that account. I don't know if I got lost, stolen, or something, but I had to change it. I think I maybe just wanted to change checking because I was tired of this other bank. So I walk in. I tried to do it online. They said no, it wouldn't take it or whatever. So I was like, all right, let me go in there before the workout. And I stepped to the desk. The lady was, I think, 23-ish, somewhere early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I just want to change my my payment source. It was okay. And I'm like, all right. So here it is. I got I had it all written down. And she's looking at it like it was like a foreign language. And I said, this is my routing and this is my account number. She goes, okay. And she's like typing it in. She's looking. It was long periods of complete. I'm just looking at her patiently, like, are you serious right now?
I know where this is going. Go on.
Yes. She's like, all right, well, let me see you have your checkbook. And I brought it. I had the foresight to bring that. So here it is. I handed it to her and I pointed, this is the routing. This is the account number. She goes, okay. She's typing it in. Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. I said, well, I mean, I wish I could just go back there. It's only 2 numbers you put in. And this was like a 5 or 6 minute ordeal. That's probably a strong word, but it was a long time. So she said she got it, wink, wink, and I went on my very way and did my workout. So this is charged monthly. So I got a nastygram email from that company saying, we're going to shut your account down because of non-payment. I'm like, no, I paid it. I pay it every month. I updated it. And they're like, well, it didn't go through. I'm like, well, gee, I wonder why. And she was, oh, God, I don't know how you mess that up. There's literally only 2 options.
Mm-hmm.
One says ABA or routing, and the other one says account. I don't know what she put in there, but whatever it is, it was incorrect as the kids say, AF. And so I had to go back there, remedy that with somebody above 23 who knows what it is, and they reversed whatever. I don't know if they hit me with a fee or something like that. But I was like, I should have seen this coming. It doesn't take that long to put 2 numbers in. Just delete these 2, type these 2 in and call it a day.
But that's also the generation. They don't have checkbooks.
They don't. Yeah, I get it.
Everything is Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo. They don't. They have a banking account with a debit card. When it comes to a check, they've never written a check. If you were to hand them a blank check and say make it payable to someone, they wouldn't know how to fill it out.
I had a teacher that taught us that my junior year. Completely unrelated course. I forgot what the course was. It was like some kind of science course. He taught us that. But going back to what you were saying earlier, I think we both said it, resourceful. Mm-hmm. There were people on either side of her. She didn't ask them. She just faked it. Yeah. Faked it like she had it. She could have made a phone call, said, hey, I don't know what this is. How do you put this in here? I mean, that's her job, right? To put it in. I'm sure not the first person that had to change their account. You think that would have been taught. If nothing else, say, hey, I'm not sure how to put this in. How do you do this? Mm-hmm. That didn't happen.
Nope. But it's funny. Speaking of checkbooks, when I was in high school at the time, there was this girl that lived across the street from a friend of mine, and she just came from Jamaica. So she was like 18 when she came, 17, 18, and she opened up a bank account. And for those of you listening out there, it used to be, and I think they still do it, but people kind of disregard it. They give you starter checks when you open up a bank account. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think they only give you like a sheet with maybe 3 or 4 checks on it. back then it was a book, and the book usually had around 25 to 100 starter checks.
Yeah.
These are checks that are not pre-printed with your name and address, right? So this is my girl Karen. She lived across the street from my girl Karen. So we go over there one day, and this chick, she's sitting there and she's writing out all these checks. So Karen is like,
I
well,
know
what are
where
you
this is
writing?
going.
She's like, what are you writing out all these checks for? She was like, who are you paying? She was like, no, these are practice checks. I'm practicing right now. And both of us, mind you, are younger than her. And we're like, no. It doesn't go like that. They don't give you those to practice. They're starter checks until you get your real checks in a box with your name on them. So you can use these to pay people. She's practicing how to sign her name and all kinds of stuff like that.
MG. I did not know where it was going. I thought it was going in a different direction because I got a story like that too. The one I was thinking of.
But yeah, practice check.
Yeah. She didn't overdraw or anything. She just rolled them down and just crumpled them up or what?
She just was flipping through the book, practicing writing.
Wow. Oh, I have a story kind of like that. It was a younger sister of a girl I used to date. She was not known to be the smartest. And she got her first one, I think either late high school or early college.
Mm-hmm.
And she did the starter checks, she got the real checks, but she never balanced the checkbook. So she kept writing check after check after check. And they were bouncing sky high. And they had to call her into the bank. And they're like, what is wrong with you? She goes, oh, I thought I had. She kept writing checks. He said, well, she figured because she had more checks, she had money in there to cover it. I don't know how you would think that when you put X amount of dollars in there. She literally just wrote them with no thought process of how much the check was.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice though if, like, as long as you had 100 checks, that meant you could write whatever you wanted to write, and the bank would like process them for you.
Oh, that would be great because I got hundreds from it.
Oh my God.
Maserati.
But we're resourceful. We are resourceful. Anything else you want to add, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add?
Nothing I could think of at the time. I think we covered it. I mean, I know
Okay.
there'll probably be some more stuff that'll come to mind afterwards. We could just put it in the next episode.
But you know what? I'm going to go, before we end, what I am going to do is I'm going to read the comments from that post because I thought the comments were hilarious. That has to get edited out. But let's see here. The comment. Okay, people in the comments. Took a city bus by myself at 7. Fell asleep a couple of times and missed my stop and had to figure out how to get home.
Wow.
Resourceful. Oh, this one I can relate to. Latchkey kid here. Walked home alone from school at age 6. Came home, did my chores, then fixed me a fried bologna sandwich. I did that too. Here's something that some of you will, from our generation. I had relatives that experienced this. Thankfully, my parents didn't put me through this, but got our ears pierced with an ice cube and a sewing needle.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
That's painful. This chick's like, my grandma forgot me home like twice when I was age 4 or 5. She went to work, didn't even freak out. I just turned on my cartoons and made myself some cereal until my uncle showed up hours later. Here's the other one. We remembered every single telephone number by heart.
Yeah, you had to.
His CPS was not called if you were home all day. The neighbors just helped to watch each other's kids.
Right, true story.
Okay. Surviving outside all day with water from a water hose. And that's the truth. Because if you go inside one time, you have to stay inside. Let's see. We were the first on all new tech, from tapes to CD players to digital, from DVT to digital to paper map to digital map. We're probably are the last generation that would survive if we went off the grid. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
One day I left the house with my daughter, and we were halfway someplace, and she was like, I said to her, oh, I left my phone at home. She's like, you want us to turn around and go back and get it? I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I could live without a phone for a couple of hours.
I could live without a phone for a few hours. I'm good.
You know where you're going.
Yep. Had a paper route by the age of 10 so I could buy ice cream. No car seat. Can relate to this. You know what the car seat was? Your hand.
Arm. Yeah. No seatbelt.
Your mom's or your dad's arm across your chest when they stopped short.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we didn't have passenger side mirrors. We only had driver side mirrors. And we rode bikes with no knee pads or helmets.
Nope. Yep. That's right. Skateboard with no helmet too.
Yep.
That would probably explain a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. To get some TBIs walking around here, and I'll do a couple more. Remember Steak'em sandwich?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember Hunger Man dinner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Making Steak'em sandwich. And water hoses were multi-purposes. They were your sports drink. They were used for filling balloons for water fights, and were also used for filling up a bed if you had a water bed.
Right. Or for your slip and slide.
Here's the last one. By 8, my mom sent me to the laundromat by myself because we didn't have a washer and dryer in the house. I think my mom probably secretly watched me out the window because the laundromat was across the alley. Got some 18-year-olds out here that don't know how to do their laundry. And this kid was going to the laundromat. So, yes, we are built for tough.
Yeah.
So that's all we got. This Gen Xers, that's all we have here today. We want to thank you for tuning in. And please subscribe and follow us on all of our social podcasts at Hilarity Ensues Podcast. Anything you'd like to add, Jeff, before we over and out?
If you want to go back and reminisce and drink out of the water hose, please do not put your greasy lips on the end of the hose. Leave a space. Let it fall into your mouth. I'm talking about the water. Nobody wants to have sloppy seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. There's a certain skill set for drinking from a water hose. So there you go. You gotta practice. Don't put it in your mouth.
Again, we're talking about the hose, just to be.
Okay. But thank you for tuning in, and please like, subscribe, and share, because Jeff,
sharing is caring.
But thank you for tuning in.
All right, until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Hilarity Ensues. Our fantastic music soundtrack is brought to you by TL Music Productions exclusively for Hilarity Ensues. Be sure to connect with us on social media by following Hilarity Ensues Podcast.